I was a chief technology officer of a mid-sized organization. Now, I am starting a new chapter in my life. While I was the CTO, and even now as I consult and advise, I've had the opportunity to work closely with hundreds of professionals at different levels, from entry-level individual contributors to senior managers and directors. Today I want to share a perspective that many people do not hear often enough. What truly separates a strong senior manager from a successful director? Some of it may match what you expect. Some of it may surprise you. Some of it may even challenge the way you currently think about career progression in tech. One thing I have learned is this: the skills that made you a strong senior manager can also be the same skills that hold you back from becoming a director. One of the biggest shifts happens in how the work itself is structured. As a senior manager, you usually operate within relatively clear boundaries. Your role is to execute effectively inside an existing framework. Directors, on the other hand, operate at a much more abstract level. They are often responsible for creating direction when there is no clear playbook, no established metrics, and sometimes no obvious path forward. Let me make that more concrete. Imagine a senior manager responsible for the IT operations of a 100-person team. Their world is fairly well defined. They have a budget, timelines, clear objectives handed down from above, and playbooks that may have existed for years. Success is measured by execution, delivering on time and maintaining service levels. That is demanding work. It requires discipline, organization, and consistency. Now contrast that with a director of engineering being told, "Make the team more efficient, improve profitability, help us break into a new market." Now the framework disappears. The director has to define the scope and decide what success should look like. Create metrics, build alignment across the organization, and make decisions with incomplete information. Every single day. This is one of the main reasons the jump from senior manager to director feels difficult. Over the years, I have sat on countless interview panels for director-level positions. I have reviewed hundreds of impressive resumes from managers and technical leaders. Yet only a small percentage truly looked ready for the next level. When I evaluate candidates, I look for signals beyond credentials and tenure. First, breadth of experience. People who have worked across multiple functions or industries bring stronger judgment and more adaptable thinking. They have seen different ways of operating and know how to transfer ideas. Second, growth velocity. Has this person continued taking on larger scope? If someone keeps earning greater responsibility at a healthy pace, that usually tells me something. Third, independent strategic thinking. How do you solve problems when resources are limited and priorities keep shifting? Tell me about a time you delivered results outside your comfort zone. How broad is your professional network and how would you use it to solve problems? Two common mistakes appear again and again. The first is over-talking. Many candidates believe long, detailed answers demonstrate depth. Often it does the opposite. It can come across as disorganized or lacking confidence. The strongest directors I have worked with are usually concise. They organize their thoughts and focus on the 2 or 3 points that matter most. The second mistake is failing to articulate personal impact. Candidates describe how successful their team was, but never clearly explain what they contributed. Always be ready with specific examples. Quantify your influence whenever possible. Numbers and outcomes speak much louder than vague descriptions. I remember one particular hiring decision. The person who got the role did not have the biggest title or longest tenure. What they had was clearer judgment. They understood what good looked like. They could communicate a compelling direction and rally people around it, and they showed confidence, making difficult decisions even when the path was not obvious. He turned out to be a great hire in the end. At its core, the gap is rarely about credentials or raw technical skill. It comes down to one critical ability. Can you create clarity when none has been provided? Most people discover whether they can do this the hard way after stepping into the role. If you are trying to make that leap, there are practical steps you can take now. First, deliberately seek broader experiences. Take on cross-functional projects. Volunteer for work outside your usual domain. Choose assignments with more ambiguity. Second, sharpen your communication skills relentlessly. Practice answering leadership questions out loud. Learn to be concise. Learn to tell clear stories. Learn to tie your examples to measurable business outcomes. Third, get comfortable operating without perfect information. Reflect on moments where you had to define your own scope or build a roadmap. Making this transition requires a mindset shift. You move from being excellent at tactical execution inside defined parameters to becoming effective at strategic creation in open, uncertain spaces. A manager executes within a framework. A director often has to build the framework from scratch. I see many talented leaders waiting for a playbook that simply does not exist. To be considered for the director role, you have to show that you can draw the map, not just follow the one you were given. The gap is rarely your credentials. It is your ability to create clarity when no one has handed it to you. So stop waiting for the right answer. Start defining what good should look like. Then, make it happen. If you enjoyed the video and would like to hear more stories and lessons from the executive world, let me know in the comments. There's a lot more to explore. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to continuing the conversation with you.